What up, peeps? Joe Passarelli here. Make sure to keep subscribing to the channel. Also subscribe to the Wrestling Throwdown for some of the best reviews you will see in the IWC, baby. But today I wanted to talk about, or this particular video, I wanted to talk about a compare and contrast of two future Hall of Famers, two legends who have always kind of been similar and joined at the hip, but the current state of them, and that's Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam. Both of them obviously making their returns to the WWE this year. Rob Van Dam the night after WrestleMania, Chris Jericho just a few months ago, really, and we've seen this from Chris Jericho where he kind of comes back for a summer then leaves again. But I wanted to voice my thoughts on just the overall presentation of the two and where both are at in their current careers. Obviously, Jericho probably gets the nod for, he's a 6-time world champion. Jericho held the WWE and ECW world titles. Obviously, he was a TNA world champion, but WWE does not recognize that. But Rob Van Dam leaving unceremoniously in 2007 after his contract expired, going to TNA, doing independence. And look, Rob Van Dam, his wife's been sick with cancer. I mean, he's faced some rough times throughout the years, and the Rob Van Dam I see now is not the whole fucking show. Is not Mr. Monday Night. Is not Mr. PPV. It's Mr. Can I Get a Booking? That's the way I see Rob Van Dam now. Now, I've actually met both of these gentlemen, Rob and Jericho. They're both great. They're both great people. But to me, Rob's style has always been fast-paced. And to me, he hasn't evolved into more of a technical wrestler or more of a ground-paced wrestler. He still relies on the Rolling Thunder and the thrust kick and the 5-star frog splash, which is more like about a 2.5-star frog splash now. I mean, he's a little bit bigger, so maybe it has more impact. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what happened to Rob between TNA and WWE, but I just feel like Rob Van Dam, it almost hurts watching him now. Like I said, he is not the whole effing show. He is not the highlight reel. He is not Mr. Monday Night. Heck, he ain't even Mr. Sunday Night Heat at this point. He ain't even Mr. Tuesday Night Main Event. I mean, he comes in last week, and he was going to wrestle Seth Rollins, and then, obviously, Heath Slater comes in, and this starts Heath Slater's whole resurgence of his career. But Rob Van Dam, they gave the match to us this week. He can still sell. I mean, he still has things that he's good at, and I love the way he takes Seth Rollins' curb stomp. I think he takes it better than anybody who has taken it, besides maybe Ziggler. But overall, Rob, I mean, he's not going to be a world champion. At this point, he's probably not even going to hold the mid-card title. It's almost like watching Rey Mysterio wrestle now. It's painful. You can see he's lost those miles on his fastball, and he hasn't changed his character or adapted at all. And as Evolution was saying, adapt or perish. And look, Rob Van Dam, he's a future Hall of Famer for what he did for ECW, for the WWE from the year 1999, 2001 actually, when he came in, to 2006. Great work. Phenomenal work. His tag team with Kane was good. He was obviously there when Kane first took his mask off. Multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. Great ladder matches. Great moments. Of course, what spearheaded the year's ECW one-night stand pay-per-views, along with Tommy Dreamer and Paul Heyman. But overall, I mean, I'd rather watch Tommy Dreamer wrestle than Rob at this point, because at least it's an entertaining presentation with Tommy, and Tommy wasn't a high flyer. It just hurts. I mean, I go back and watch those matches from 1997 with him and RVD and Sabu, and from 2000 with RVD and Jerry Lynn, and these matches don't even hold the candle. It's barely the same person. Rob's obviously in his mid-40s, and I'd rather see Rob in movies, do his radio show, do pre-show stuff. At this point, Rob, I'm sorry, but you're not Mr. Monday Night anymore. And as far as the man who was once had the show Monday Night Jericho, the man who is the highlight of the night, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, the best in the world at what he does, Chris Jericho. Here's a man who has continued to evolve. Whether it was Lionheart Chris Jericho in ECW, to the whiny crybaby Chris Jericho that we saw develop in WCW, to Just so many layers he added to his character in WWE. Whether it was going against women, Stephanie McMahon, Chyna, Triple H, of course, adding the highlight reel to his resume and repertoire, and then going over and putting, spotting talents like John Cena and putting them over before anyone saw they could draw money at all, and even the way he got fired, kicking and screaming after Eric Bischoff fired him. Always growth. And then Chris Jericho comes back. He's Y2J for 5 months. Then he slams Shawn Michaels through a television screen. Has a great feud with Shawn Michaels. Changes his character to the ego, maniacal, best in the world, suit wearing, at what he does, channeling Nick Bockwinkel, channeling the character from No Country for Old Men. And then Jericho comes back again, and he's got the light bright jacket. He kind of brings traces of the old Y2J character back. And now we see with the feud with Bray Wyatt, he's kind of being a tweener between the Y2J Chris Jericho and the maniacal suit-wearing best in the world Chris Jericho. Also, the feud that Chris Jericho had with CM Punk, outstanding stuff a couple years ago. So Jericho continues to hit home runs, with the exception of maybe the Fandango loss, which wasn't his call, or he had nothing to do with that. I mean, him and Dolph Ziggler a couple of years ago. Everything that Chris Jericho does, he comes out, he puts people over, he does it in the right way. And I do think it's believable that Chris Jericho could hold the World Championship one more time before he's retired. He's in great shape. He has that tattoo. He goes away, does Fozzy, and Fozzy continues to get better. He comes back and he changes his character. So to me, doing a compare and contrast of the current Y2J Chris Jericho and the current Rob Van Dam, give me Y2J any day of the week, baby. The second coming, the savior, the Millennium Man, Chris Jericho, the best in the world at what he does, the Ayatollah of rock and roll. I love them both. They both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But Chris Jericho, right now, if I would pay my money to see one of these individuals, and as the whole keep one, fire one thing, the memes, they're going around Facebook, I'd keep Chris Jericho and I'd fire Rob Van Dam. I love them both. It's no disrespect to Rob Van Dam, but to me, Rob Van Dam is hurting his legacy, having the matches that he's having now. And Chris Jericho is just enhancing his legacy, coming down, working with Bray Wyatt, having great matches, telling a great story, great promos. It just never ceases to amaze me, the capabilities that Chris Jericho has. Folks, like, subscribe, Joe Passarelli channel, Joe Passarelli Show. We did the Raw review on the Wrestling Throwdown channel a few minutes ago. We're also going to do the SummerSlam preview show coming up, so stay tuned for that live. Also going to be on the YouTube channel after that. And we got a few more videos on the Joe Passarelli Show channel after that, so stay tuned. It's a busy night. Hashtag subscribe, because we are the best in the IWC at what we do. Peace.